Everyone. Tom here with another video recapping supply and demand. I want to go over what to look for, how I use these setups to benefit in my trades this week, and how you can incorporate these in your trades. So some of the tickers I'll be going over is ES, the SPY futures, NQ, the NASDAQ futures, Apple, AMD, Fastly, Tesla, SDC, Snow, Amazon, SBE, and NEO. So let's hop right into it. We'll start off with the ES, the SPY futures. So starting off, we have a 30-minute demand zone right here from 37.93 to 37.87.5. This is a 30-minute supply demand zone. Here we could see that buyers and sellers were agreeing on a price, thus making this a balanced zone that we know buy orders were eaten up here in order for us to bid higher. That means we consolidated where buyers and sellers were agreeing until buyers said they wanted it more. They proved that. So we knew eventually in order to go higher, we had to retest this demand zone and bid higher. So you can see here on a 30-minute time frame, we did end up coming back here today. So let's go to a 5-minute and show what happened. So we came down right into demand right at the start of it, 37.93, and immediately bid up really fast. The buy orders piled on very quickly. So the other thing to look at is what caused this drop. We almost had a double top. Let's go back to the 5-minute. Actually, 15 minutes should work. We can say there was some sort of supply here. There's a reason for this to reject and for this to reject. But this being at all-time highs, there's really no reason to go short. We're looking to go back long with conviction when we have reason to. So here we could have taken it long. Let's go to a 5-minute. Off of the demand, what I like to look for is VWAP. It's one of the most powerful tools to pair with supply and demand. So we go 37.93 up to 38.07. It's a good 14-point rally off of demand. If you could take that on a day trade, I'll take that any day. So this was just a little mini example. The other examples are a whole lot stronger. But one other thing I want to point out is when we broke demand here, this invalidated this zone. And I was thinking right away, okay, we have another zone down here. Let me check what time frame that was. I think that was a 1-hour zone. Yep, that's a 1-hour demand zone down there. So, but what really prevented that from happening was this bullish pennant that happened here. And the high of that pennant was actually 37.74.75, and we came right down to test that just a tick off and immediately started bidding higher. So this goes to show that previous highs can serve as new support levels. Still playing support and resistance levels is key with supply and demand, even though it's not technically a zone. It's still a key level to look for. So let's hop into NQ, the NASDAQ futures. This wasn't something I played today, but it showed why there was strength today. So go to 2 hours. We have a 2-hour demand zone that started December 21st. All this happened. We had a big drop. There was no reason to go short here unless you were just momentum trading. And we came down to this demand zone, and there's a big wick here. That means buyers stepped in really quick and brought it back up. So, you could have taken this long out of demand. We came up here, rejected, came back down to demand. We formed a trend line here, and we were trapped between demand and this trend line. So one of them had to give, and the sentiment was bullish. A double bottom out of demand and break of here. When you see a break of a pattern like this, that ultimately means we are probably going to test new highs, and that's what we did today. We had a continuation. We were kind of plateaued at this level, and then we came back down to retest it and moved higher. So Let's get into some well-known tickers that we commonly trade. This was a actual trade that we sent out on, I believe it was Wednesday night, or yeah, Wednesday right at close. So here we have a 30-minute demand zone. 30-minute demand was formed right here on December 21st. So at this period, price was going up and then it balanced out. Buyers and sellers were agreeing on a price, and after that, in the after-hours session, we had a demand imbalance where buyers were heavier than sellers. So at this point, this is where buy orders still linger. They're not going to chase. They bought up here, and that's the reason the price bidded higher. So in order to go higher, we need to retest this level eventually. So let's take a look at what happened. We had a rally, a drop into demand, and then a rally. Eventually, we came back down. This was the day we entered the swing trade. We started off the morning. Let's go to a 5-minute to really capture what happened. So we opened up in demand, or we dumped right into demand and started bidding higher right into supply. I'll get into how the supply zone was established in a bit. And then we rejected all the way into demand. So there's 3 plays here. You could take it long out of demand in the morning. You could take it short off supply midday, or you can enter a long at right at close, and which we did. So with this trade, entered a long here, entered a call, right? Our risk right here is the low of demand. So what is this? It's like 50 cents. And our reward is supply. So from 126 something to all the way up to 131. That's 5 points versus a 50-cent risk. What is that? A 10 to 1 risk to reward? Pretty much a no-brainer. Because we know buyers are going to be active at this level. Immediately, we had some momentum pre-market, and we just took off, and we sold right near supply. And overall, very successful trade. It's just a quick overnight trade for 63%. We'll take that any day of the week. Later on, we did invalidate supply, proving that we are going to push higher. And I would like to point out on the 1 hour, we had this trend line we were battling, and we did break that. So that was conviction of the day of the swing to stay in this trade longer, not to just exit right at the morning. And so we were going to take that to supply. So this 30-minute supply zone was formed right here, where we had proven that sellers stepped in here for some reason. So we knew we had to come back up there for sellers to step back in. So this day we established it, dipped down, came back up to test the end of day, after hours. And when you're in supply and the market's closed, there's not much you could do, but it did gap down. Came back to demand, rallied right into supply, right at the very start to the penny of supply, and dropped, right? Like I said, there's 3 different plays here. So it's all about capitalizing on which one works for you. You always have to have patience in the market and let the trade set up. So very good trades all around on Apple. So let's go into AMD. AMD established some demand here on the 4 hour on December 10th, a long time ago. And I actually issued this signal on December 29th. So I knew as soon as we dip back into that territory, it's time to go long again. Anything in between is just noise. I'm not really looking to trade it. So here we had it. We dipped right into demand by literally 7 cents. You don't have a whole lot of time to react. What we look for is a tag and a reaction out of demand. So if we tag into demand and we keep going lower, there's no reason to go long yet. We need to wait until buyers present themselves. So here it tagged right into VWAP at close. Next day rallies, consolidates, and the next day rallies right into supply. I called out March contracts, so 2 months out. I wasn't too worried about selling. I was actually on vacation at this time, so I didn't catch the sell, even though it went right into my target, 96. This was a daily supply zone. I will show you exactly how this was established. Yikes. So top of this wick to bottom of body. If I zoom in, you can see exactly why it was at where it is and why we rejected where we did. Okay, so let's go back to a smaller time frame. Okay, so I actually stayed in this trade. I got time on it. I'm not too worried. It did retrace $6, and if you can catch a put out of supply, man, that would have paid. We did actually end up going down to demand, which is a double bottom from our previous low in demand, which is confluence to go long. A double bottom out of demand is essentially two indications to go long, right? So that was a very good average down point right there. I knew anything under 89.5, buyers are going to step in, and that's exactly what happened right away. A fade at the end of the day and very strong strength into the next day. Here's actually where I sold on Thursday, yesterday. I knew we were getting close to supply. I didn't want to swing this into the next day because oftentimes you see a rally into, in the after hours into supply, and then it just sells off before the market can even open. And that's kind of what happened. So you really would have been out of luck, and you would have ended up selling right there anyways. So you kind of got to weigh out your risk to reward when it comes to swinging. Fastly was a scalp from this week. This was the day it happened. Strength in the open, created a high, descending channel, kind of a bull flag, came back up, tested the high, rejected, came back, and as soon as we broke this high, this was kind of my indication to go long. So I actually waited for it to come back to retest here. This is where I went long right here, and it actually dipped, and this would have been a really good average down point. I knew it wasn't something to get shooken out of, because buyers and sellers were pretty even here. It was a balanced zone. It was just flat consolidating, which is very healthy. Comes back down to retest where those buy orders were and bounces back up into supply, which was the target. So it looks pretty small, but when you're playing weeklies and you have a very liquid contract such as Fastly, where you have high open interest and high volume, the contracts move really quick. And I think we ended up making like 30% on this play for a very short amount of time. So really good play on Fastly. It ended up going over supply, which this is the next good point. When you invalidate supply, here we indicated we invalidate even though we came down. That means we're going to push higher. We push past 30-minute supply zone. Even though I'm on the 5-minute, it's a 30-minute supply zone, as you can see, created here. So that proved we were going to go higher eventually. We came back, closed right above supply. That's kind of a golden symbol to that the next day we're going to rally. Come back down, test old supply, which turns into new demand, and bid higher right away. So next day, another great trade opportunity. Tesla had a 30-minute demand zone that had a really nice bounce today. Let me zoom back out. So here you see the price was balanced, buyers and sellers agreeing, demand from here to here, 30-minute time frame. Let's zoom back into a 5-minute to see what happened. So today Tesla made a high of 884, came down, retested, kind of a double top, rejected into demand, very long wick, bid it out right away to VWAP. That's what I look for right away. 855 to 865, 10-point move, very fast, 15-minute trade. Comes back down, double bottom into demand, and just rallies to the high of day again, triple top. So plenty of opportunities there with Tesla. Very volatile name. Another thing you can point out, this could be a stack zone on the 5-minute time frame from this reversal candle here to here, top of body, bottom of wick. We could have 5-minute demand. You see, this wick came down, tested that, and bid it up. So if you can catch this from 847 to 870, man, that would have been a fantastic trade. But I don't have high conviction with 5-minute zones. I prefer the higher time frame zones. SDC, Smile Direct Club, not a very well known ticker to trade, but There's a reason I took this trade. I've been eyeing it for a while. Weekly pattern, it's been stuck inside, consolidating, getting tighter, and previously ripped out of it, came back down to retest. Let's go to the daily. Daily formed a demand zone right here. We came back down, we retested daily demand and bid it up right away. So if we go to a 15-minute time frame, we'll really see what happened here and how strong the price action was off of demand. So, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory right there. Buyers showed they were very strong at these levels if we got a retest, which we did. So now we're kind of stuck at, this was kind of where sellers stepped in as soon as we break above like 12.6. Pretty clear that we could rally. So pretty good risk to reward there. I have an open trade here for April that's up a decent amount already. Snow was another good trade today. One of our analysts, our dog, called this one out this morning for a call scalp, which was great. Sold it right in time for supply. So we have a 30-minute supply zone right here from, what is this, 324.9 to 327.79. So we go on a 5-minute time frame intraday. We see kind of a gap up and rally right into supply and drop. Double top into supply, confluence to go short here. You know, two indications, off of supply and a double top. Go all the way down, go to the gap fill and rally back up for 9 points. This is the point I saw. Mentioned this one in voice chat today. A nice call scalp opportunity off the gap fill. This is like a magnet. Once it hits, buyers step back in. All right, so eventually we did break that, but buyers showed they were present here at this balance zone from 297 to like 300, and that was pretty much our low today, 298. So I'm looking for a continuation for this on Monday to go higher. So pretty good trade there. Amazon, 15-minute demand zone here, created on Wednesday at close. Came up, pretty much filled this gap and rejected on Thursday. Dump at open, wicked right into demand and bid it up right away to VWAP. That's all I look for. Really good scalp opportunity there. It's as simple as that, and that's all I'll go with Amazon. SBE, I really don't have a whole lot to say for this one. It's just something that caught my eye on Thursday. I was very close to issuing a swing trade signal, typed it up but didn't send it. We saw that buyers, we retraced here, and at the end of the day, we just started rallying, and that's what caught my attention. I really won't get into this one since it's not a trade I actually took. But when you see buyers presenting themselves end of day, it usually means something. And there you have it. Neo, just go over this one very quickly. We had a floor here. This is going back quite some time. Broke out. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. Invalidated supply, new all-time high, continuation to go higher. Let's go to 1 hour to see how demand reacted. I think that's an old zone. Oh no, that could be. Okay, so 1 hour demand came back down, retested, but the strong zone was 4 hour right here. Came back down, retested, and buyers were very strong off of that. So with the catalyst event, buyers look for any reason to step in. When you have demand and a catalyst event, very good conviction play. That pretty much wraps it up. If you have any questions, drop a comment. Be sure to like and subscribe and toss us a comment. Appreciate it.